Hi there, welcome to Tarot Soap Opera. I'm going to do a reading for Pisces energy, and we're going to start out with the Kipper deck to see what story wants to come out there. Then we're going to do the tarot to kind of expand the story. And we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because people have free will and people can align with their more high vibe Pisces nature, or they can indulge and align with their more worldly shadowy Pisces energy, or other people in that energy. So our shadow nature is kind of represented by our fear, insecurity, our pride, our ego, our lust, our greed, our laziness, our self-indulgent nature, stubborn nature, more caught up in the illusion of the world, make money, status, image, and things like that more of the deciding factor in our life than love. So people could get in a career field they don't love. They could be in friendships and relationships with people they don't like. All for these other reasons other than listening to their own intuition and love to kind of live their more authentic truth. Okay, well, both of them wanted to come out, but I usually only take the one bottom card. But okay, for the Kipper deck, we got going on a journey, kind of distant horizons, maybe thinking about the future. And the reason is because of the concern card. So I've kind of viewed that as kind of like maybe a King of Swords energy. What is our truth? How do I think things are going to move forward? The way I am living my life? How do I want things to move forward? Some people are living more from their mind than their heart, trying to be more practical and logical. Maybe a little defensive. Other people in a more high vibe Libra energy within themselves, which everybody harnesses Libra energy, could be more balanced within themselves. I want some of these things of the world, yes, but I also want truth and justice and fairness and love. And so they're taking in kind of both things into consideration. Other people might be more influenced by their self-protective nature, things of the world, how it will benefit them more than love, because they might, in our free will, some people don't want to do love. You can get hurt doing love. This card kind of flew down onto the table on the floor. Message of concern. So they might not want, might not want people to know. There might have been people, kind of the journey card or distant horizons. It also reminds me of the journey card. Could be more like an Eight of Wands card, and we could have had this dream is also what it's kind of reminding me of. So Pisces energy in the Nine of Cups can kind of be about our dreams and these things that we wanted to have manifest, and people could be thinking about those things right now. It also kind of makes me think of Sagittarius energy of the Eight of Wands, which could be that some people could have been hoping people would communicate with them, and maybe some people aren't, and so some people are going to kind of stay stuck, because that's kind of shadowy energy. It's saying staying stuck, not wanting to see the truth. The truth sets us free. Some other people could be concerned, could have wanted to move forward in a certain way, could have had a dream. Again, Pisces energies can be about these dreams that we had that we thought would be emotionally fulfilling. There could have been some people that we thought would move forward with us. Some of those people aren't. We could have wanted people to communicate with us. We could have already communicated our truth to someone, and then it's just kind of waiting for those people to communicate back. But high vibe people kind of work through it. If there's some people who we have communicated our truth to, and they're in turn not communicating with us, we could accept the truth of it. In high vibe, the Page of Pentacles and the Pentacle itself is about truth and love. And we see the truth in the Magician card, which is Gemini, about our dualistic nature, and Virgo, which can be about our long-term plans. That accepting the truth that some people want to move forward differently, want to manifest different things. Not everything we want to move forward with is going to work out the way we want. And kind of realizing it's not all about us and we're not the center of the universe. And, we accept the truth of it. And the pages can be about willing to humble yourself. I accept the truth and still believe I can manifest my dreams into reality, is what the Magician and Gemini and Virgo can talk about. But I can only manifest my dreams into reality with other people who are in that same energy. And we might know some people who aren't. Maybe they're not willing to be a student of life. Maybe they have a way of living life and they want to keep moving forward in that way. Some people want to be in more codependent relationships, and they were hoping maybe somebody would maybe be in more codependent energy, and they could be right now moving forward with people who could be more codependent. And some people like to manipulate people, and it doesn't have to be that someone is younger than another person. Someone else might be better at manipulating people, however old they are. And that is kind of like how they like to do life. And, if they can't manipulate people, and sometimes more shadowy people who do kind of indulge their more immature nature and do try to manipulate people, however old they are, in relationship to someone else, they're kind of wondering, can they keep manipulating the person they're in a relationship? Or if they were to communicate with someone, or if someone were to come towards them, or someone has communicated with them, do they think they can manipulate them? And that can be shadowy people's biggest thing. Who can I manipulate? Some people are more about the world, and it's looking to see who in the world might have some of the things that they want, that they feel would benefit them, whatever that is. If somebody wants to create the illusion in Shadowy Magician, I want to create the illusion that I've moved on. Like, that I am more of a student of life. Like, I've changed. Like, I've grown and matured myself. I'm more stable than I used to be. I'm more balanced than I am. If they're in relationship with people who are willing to invest in them, and if what's most important is to create this illusion in the world, they might be willing to keep moving forward in that job, friendship, or relationship. But they might be kind of wondering, can I keep manipulating these people? Or one day do I think these people might kind of see through the illusion, might become less codependent? And that's the thing for people who are shadowy, who like to be in more codependent relationships. Maybe those people are in more codependent energy for whatever reason, but those people might, over time, start to invest in themselves. And Virgo energy can talk about doing this inner work to look at those things that manipulate us: my past pain and heartbreak, my fear, my defensiveness, other people in my life that were more hurtful or unkind or weren't just and fair. And they could start to work through those things. And then over here, we have the Ace of Pentacles, which can be about seeing the truth. People grow and heal and mature themselves. And some people who don't do that, they have a way of living life and viewing life. They want to keep doing it the way they do it. They could have things that manipulate them, but shadowy energy, again, can be, I don't want to see the truth. So some people think it's just and fair to turn their back on the truth. And in High Vibe, the Pentacle's about truth and love. Some people want to live more from their mind than their heart. And I view the King of Pentacles as or the King of Swords as a person's self-protective, defensive nature. Some people, they don't want to do love. Do they want to be in friendship or relationship with people, or maybe even get married to people? Yeah, they just don't want to do love. They don't want to work with their more hopeful, believing nature. Nope. I got to protect my more hopeful, believing nature. They get hurt out there. So they're more they manipulate their more hopeful believing nature to, it's like their shadow nature telling their hopeful believing nature, oh, I don't know, you shouldn't go out there, you get hurt, you should let me run your life. And so then they let their more fearful, self-protective, defensive nature run their life. And then their shadow nature keeps running their life. And they keep moving forward thinking, this is just and fair. This is the right thing to do. This will keep me safe. I'm sure there'll be people who want to be in the Ace of Cups in friendship and relationship with me, even though they harness a shadowy Pisces energy of the hangman, and unwilling to, high vibe Libra that anyone can harness would be that you see the truth. It's supposed to be about love. And love is supposed to be just and fair. And if you're going to be in a romantic relationship, it should be because of love. But some people don't want to see the truth of that, but they want to be in romantic relationships. And so they decide it's just and fair for me to create this illusion that I'm more motivated by love. And it's not till time goes by in the Wheel of Fortune that people kind of feel stuck in a relationship with them because they look like love, they quack like love, but you don't really feel like they're authentically motivated by love. That it's more calculated, living more from their mind than their heart. Can enjoy relationships, want to be in relationships, but it's hard to have a new beginning with someone. It's like it can go so far. Because in order to keep growing and maturing ourselves, we have to see the truth. And so a relationship can only go so far. But when it gets to the truth, that it should be about love, that's when the other people feel stuck. No, I don't want to really do love. So then it could stay like a more emotionally shallow, superficial relationship. It doesn't become a more deep, meaningful relationship. And then whoever's in, it's just like you could work for someone too who tries to create the illusion they're more just, they're more fair. And then you get in the job, and for a while, yeah, it can seem to go fine. But then when, they maybe have to get out of their ego, that's what shadowy hangman can talk about, of, really kind of doing the just and fair thing. Like, if people have shown that they have insight, talent, pentacles can mean those unique gifts and talents that people have. Shadowy energy can be where people get in their ego and kind of jealous or envious or, well, I don't like people viewing them as being like someone who should be promoted or have a position of maybe kind of authority or something. And then they kind of get in their ego about it, and people can work for them, and it goes so far, but not getting the justice they thought they were going to get. And so in any of those situations, and the opposite side of that can be some people have been loving and encouraging and just and fair, but they have people in their life or in a workplace that kind of created the illusion they were willing to put in this work and effort and grow and mature themselves to be able to take that type of position. But they kind of keep indulging themselves in their ego or more immature ways or stubborn ways, and they don't really step into that role being more where things seem more just and fair and balanced, but they keep wanting people to let them stay there anyway. And so just like people in a relationship can feel that, employees can feel that, bosses can feel that, and the roles can be switched. Children can feel that way towards parents. Parents can feel that way towards children. Whoever is trying to be just and fair, trying to work with people at their different skill levels, emotional maturity levels, we can only do so much. Other people have to be willing to kind of work through their own fears, their own insecurities, their defensive nature, their immature nature, their prideful nature, their stubborn nature. Are they willing to do that, or are they not? And eventually, for a long time, with the Magician and Pisces energy, we can kind of be caught up in the dream. We can kind of be caught up in the illusion of people. We want to believe the best of them, and we could have known them, for some of them, since they were children. And maybe when we were children, and maybe they were in our family or in our community or our neighborhood, or we just known them for a long time. What if some people, as time goes by, maybe become more bossy or controlling or stubborn or prideful or start to act more immature? And maybe they weren't doing that initially because, again, they could have created this illusion. And then we maybe wonder, is that really the truth of who they've been all this time? But I kind of got caught up in the illusion of them. And, it's sometimes like we can cast this invisible net over people like, oh, I think they're just like me. I think they think like me. And I think, like, if I would do this and I would act like this in this situation because of some of the lessons I've learned in life and what I think is just and fair, I think they would do that. And a lot of times people can kind of create the illusion that is how they think, and that can be people trying to present themselves as a more just, fair, stable, balanced person than they really are. But then as time goes by, that's like the Wheel of Fortune, we can feel like we start to look at life differently. It's like, I keep trying to move this forward, but they seem to keep kind of where my truth is different than their truth. What they think is just and fair is different than what I think is just and fair. Maybe what they find, how they want to invest and what they find emotionally fulfilling. But we could feel like some people, they're not willing to try to see things from our perspective. And if you're going to work together with other people, if we have this common goal, two people work together and everybody has to be willing to kind of compromise. It can't be, well, I think it should be more about me, or I think it should be more my way or the highway. Everybody has to be willing to compromise. And some people have done a lot of compromising and trying to see things from other people's perspective. But then sometimes the other people, kind of seeing the truth that I seem to be maybe the one who seems to be the more inspired to want to put in work and effort to keep this dream coming into reality, or maintaining balance in the relationship, or wanting in the Four of Swords, which is also Libra energy, to heal a relationship or try to maintain balance in it. But maybe the other people kind of keep trying to manipulate me. And part of the reason why people is kind of like refusing to see the truth, and so they keep kind of repeating poor past patterns. And it can be really frustrating, and it's like, why do they do that? And part of it is because we can't relate to it, because that's not how we operate in the world. Not trying to manipulate or control people. And part of it is because some of them don't want to be more just and fair. They really don't want to see things from other people's perspective. They want it to be more about them. And that shadowy energy. I'm more about me. I see it my way. I want to do it my way. Do I maybe want to be in a friendship or relationship or keep this job? Yeah. But my truth isn't your truth. Until you kind of are willing to see the truth of it, I'll keep kind of indulging myself in the friendship, the relationship, or the job until you are willing. And in high vibe, the hangman is kind of looking at life a little differently because you do feel stuck. Offering love to the situation and yourself, but wanting justice and fairness and truth. Probably speaking your truth and trying to work together with people in a just and fair way. And eventually you do kind of see through the illusion. It's like the light bulb moment. If people were more motivated to work together with people in a more just and fair and balanced and loving and healed way, they would. But either they're much more immature, and so then they try these other tactics because, and some of them, they just don't want to see the truth. I do try to manipulate or control people. I am more about me. I am stubborn. I do like to live more from my mind than my heart. I am defensive to love. But of course, they can want to think, no, 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 that's not true. That's not true. It's like kind of talking to a brick wall, but other people could maybe, see the truth. There's people in the world right now trying to create this illusion about the type of person they are. Well, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And as time goes by, more and more people kind of start to kind of see through the illusion, which even could be trying to manipulate the truth about themselves or other people. But as everybody kind of goes and lives their life, and some people are putting in work and effort in truth and love, looking at things from other people's perspective, being just and fair, working together with people in a just and fair way, being authentic, being loving, not trying to manipulate people, not trying to control people, not operating, seem to be being authentic and not operating more from taking action more out of pride and ego. They can kind of see who is taking action more out of pride and ego and who isn't. Who does seem to be more immature and self-indulgent and more about themselves, and who doesn't. Who seems to live more from their mind and their heart and seem to I don't know, just like not really being more authentic in the world. And eventually, and we can't control who does see the truth and who doesn't. And that's why high vibe people don't really care, because they know that. Everybody is going to view people and buy into things, not buy into things, listen to their intuition, not listen to their intuition, be more just and fair, not be more just and fair, based on who they are. And I don't care to try to sway people's opinion. I have other things to invest my time, energy, and effort into. Investing in my truth, investing in things that I find more emotionally fulfilling, and other people, they could spend all their time trying to convince people of things, and other people are just living their truth. Let's see what this grouping is here. For some people that are right now in more shadowy energy, they could be trying to manipulate some people in their life to move forward in something, but they're hiding that they harness these energies in a more shadowy way. And they can get high vibe or more worldly shadowy people to move forward with them, because some of the more high vibe people just haven't learned the truth about these people. And they're going to go on their own journey of kind of learning that some people aren't who they say they are. And then they're going to have to decide if they're willing to stay in it and keep putting in work and effort in it, or if they're willing to feel like somebody created an illusion, and that's kind of like committing fraud in a relationship. And I don't think you are who you say you are. Some people might be trying to move forward in something, and some of the people in their life are like, I'm not moving forward in a new beginning with you until you tell me the truth. I want to know the truth about something. And if the other people are unwilling or try to manipulate the truth, the other people are going to, if they listen to their intuition, they might say, I think you're trying to confuse me about the truth. And I'm going to listen to my intuition. Until my intuition tells me that I think you're telling the truth, I'm not going to move forward with you. And we could all know people in our life that we're kind of getting to know, and they don't really know us. We don't really know them, some people in our life. And we all are just moving forward, getting along to kind of get more clear about other people's truth. Do I think that person really is more healed, more balanced, more just, more fair? People who have that more hopeful, believing spirit within themselves do try to see things from other people's perspectives or work with them, kind of get to know them. And if you kind of think maybe because of some actions that they take, I think they're a little more stubborn. I think they're a little more immature. I think they're a little more full of themselves or manipulative or have these ways of conducting themselves in friendships or relationships that they might think is just and fair, but I've already kind of been in friendships or relationships with people who've done things like that, and I don't view that as just and fair. And I'm not going to I'm not going to invest more in someone who I think seems in shadowy Pisces of the Hangman, seems to be unenlightened to the truth about what it means to work together with people in a more just and fair way. So let's go look at these cards. People can be moving forward in the world, and we're trying to figure out, basically, by getting to know people, if they harness these energies in a more shadowy way or a more high vibe way. And shadowy people are trying to figure out if people harness those in a more worldly, shadowy way or a more high vibe way too. Let's go see. We have the Queen of Swords, the Tower, the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords, the King of Wands, and the Page of Cups. You know, our people in the Queen of Swords, which can talk about how we think and feel, male or female, are some people emotionally defensive to believing in themselves, taking action more inspired by truth and love, and standing up for themselves and believing in themselves. Shadowy people do not want to be in a relationship with someone who they think would be motivated and inspired eventually to love and believe in themselves and stand up for themselves. They want to be in relationships, whether they're male or female, whether the person they're in a friendship or relationship with is male or female. They want to know and get a feeling for if they think that person could be manipulated, kind of in the Seven of Swords, to Aquarius card energies, to kind of give up their dream, loving and believing in themselves, be more manipulated, to maybe be in a relationship that could look like a dream, you know, because Aquarius is also represented by the star card. So, you know, are you more manipulated in your worldly nature? Can I get you to get in a relationship with me? And even if you do see the truth later, that I may be kind of deceptive and manipulative in my Aquarius energy, or kind of full of myself, prideful, stubborn, would you stay in the relationship with me anyway? Because, you know, it seems just and fair in a lot of ways, and it has a lot of these things of the world that you want. Even a boss could feel that way towards an employee. Can I manipulate you? Can I control you? Will you keep staying here? Or do they think that someone eventually would have mental conflict about continuing to emotionally invest in someone, even though in their fire sign energy, we can all want these things in the world. We want to be in friendship and relationship. We want a job. Would we be more willing to listen to our more hopeful, believing, loving nature and stand up and protect that nature within ourselves? Or would we be willing to leave that behind because we're more caught up or codependent or afraid of being more independent or looking for another job, friendship, or relationship? And if some shadowy people in the world right now have some people in their life who they could think view life the way they view life, they're not more motivated by high vibe, Aquarius, fire sign energy, or emotionally, because the page can represent all three of the water signs of Cancer and Pisces and Scorpio. Less inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness and having more hope and faith and belief in their dreams. If they probably have some people in their life right now who are like that, who that's how they live their life. They do not want to look at life from any other perspective. They like living more from their mind than their heart. They do not maybe want to do love because you can get hurt doing love. You have to be more willing to compromise with people and they don't want to. And if they think they have some people in their life who they think are on that same page, willing to stay in a relationship more for these reasons of the world, they might move forward in that relationship because they think that is just and fair, because they kind of in their free will gave up their hope and faith and belief in that dream. They decided to make their life more about these things of the world or more about them. And if they have someone who's willing to make it more about them, that works for them. If they're more about the world and money and materialism and status and image and look, I've moved on, look how wonderful my life is, and willing to stay in a relationship for those reasons, they would move forward with them. Some shadowy people are trying to find someone new. Some people just want to get in another relationship with someone else because they're mad that someone else detached from them and did love and believe in themselves. And it's just to prove a point, that shadowy hangman. It might not even be someone they really want to be in a relationship with. I just want to prove a point. I hope it upsets someone that isn't in a relationship with me anymore. Well, if people do that, if some other people tried to work together with people in a just and fair way and kind of saw the truth, that person wasn't willing to do that, and they kind of moved on, initially you can kind of feel stuck because the truth is you did want a dream to come into reality, and part of you, even though you could have distanced yourself from them, you could have been hoping that over time, again, still hoping that they would be willing in the Tower card to see the truth. And then you see those people do something kind of shadowy and get in another relationship, like loving people are a dime a dozen, and all of that just helps you. Does it kind of cause you some mental conflict and get you up in your head and maybe get you up in your ego some? Sure. Normal human being reaction. The only thing is, for some of the people who tried to manipulate and control people, that didn't work. Then they did other hurtful and unkind things. All of those things helped reinforce the truth and clarify the truth for some of the people in their life. No more illusion. The Tower's like, boom. If at one time I thought these people were more just and fair, by the actions they keep taking, the more it helps me work through my own betrayal. My dream couldn't come into reality with those people anyway. No more can my dream come into reality. No more in denial of the truth. Kind of seeing the truth. they are kind of deceptive and manipulative and hurtful and unkind and unjust fair people, some of those people in my life. And some of them seem to want to win at all costs, and they really don't care who they hurt. It's just all, they harness these energies in a shadowy way. They indulge their more immature nature and maybe being kind of full of themselves and keep thinking other people should keep indulging them. And what some of the shadowy people didn't know about some of the high vibe people in their life is the high vibe people love themselves. And they do have a dream, and they're not going to let shadowy, hurtful, unkind, manipulative people, they can betray them. They can do things that really shake their foundation of how they viewed the world. But because they offer truth and love to it and believe in themselves and believe in truth and love, they don't let go of their dreams and they don't let go of their truth. They let go of the people in their life who had the free will to take action in truth and love and justice and fairness, and they didn't. And that's who they let go of. And they kept believing in their dreams. And they listened to their intuition and they healed. And they were inspired to love and believe in themselves and deal with the truth. They offered love to themselves and the situation to accept that, I'm not going to take it personally. Not going to be in my ego about it. If they were more motivated to be more just and fair, they would be. If that was their idea of the dream life, what I was trying to manifest, they would have invested in it. Apparently that's not their truth. That's not what they want to manifest. We harness our Libra energy different, our Pisces energy different, our Earth sign energy different, our Aquarius energy different, our fire sign energy different. And in Gemini, in our dualistic nature of free will, I'm more motivated by truth and love and justice and fairness, and some of the people in my life aren't. And I accept the truth of it. They could be more about themselves, more about the world, like to live more from their mind than their heart. And everybody has the free will to live their life in a way that makes them maybe feel balanced and stable within themselves. It's kind of like if people don't know kind of how to swim emotionally, throwing them into the deep end, they drowned. They're not ready for it. And some people have put maybe a lot more work and effort into investing in having what seems to be more just and fair by worldly standards, maybe their status or their image or their power or their intellect or their education or career. And maybe some people really kind of left their emotional nature kind of out in the cold because they were more inspired by these things of the world and thought those things were more important. So emotionally, they're just maybe not very emotionally mature. But they can try to get in relationships with other people who are more emotionally mature. And they just kind of don't even realize that other people could have put a lot of work and effort into having balance within themselves. I have the 4 suits of the deck within me: my heart, my mind, my 3D nature, my creative, passionate nature. Some people are more balanced within themselves. The magician talks about all 4 elements, and some people invested in all 4 elements of themselves. Could some aspects within themselves be a little more stronger than other aspects of themselves, like have more stability and security, or than their in their emotional nature, or put a lot into being more emotionally connected with themselves and growing and maturing emotionally, and maybe not quite as much in the worldly nature or any of the other combinations? Sure. But some other people didn't invest, and they could have thought, I don't have to do that. I have an idea. I think I'm smart. I can kind of create the illusion that I've put in work and effort into some of those areas also. And I'm more grown and matured and balanced. But then as time goes by in a relationship, when they act in these more immature or stubborn or manipulative or cold or detached ways, it shows that they have not learned some of those lessons of how to work together with people in a more balanced, loving, mature way. High vibe people have learned to offer love to it, to maintain balance within themselves. Shadowy energy can be people are tipped out of balance, but they try to present themselves as more balanced than they are. But the truth could be they could be very unbalanced. There could be a lot of things that get them up in their head and cause them a lot of mental conflict. And instead of being inspired to offer love to those things within themselves, or past pain and heartbreak, or any of those things, they don't. They could keep saying, I don't got to deal with it. I can just, in my more prideful ego nature, I can stay in denial of the truth. I can just put it behind me, like I don't have to deal with it. I'm sure everything will be okay. But all those things, if they haven't worked through them, high vibe Virgo, to get to the truth so that those things no longer manipulate them, whatever things manipulate them, their pride, their ego, their defensive nature, their stubborn nature, their immature nature, their lust, their greed, their pride, their ego, other people in the world, them being who they are, that can really bother them. And it really can get them up in their head. Some people are just and fair, and this is a way shadowy people can try to manipulate other people. They're just and fair, and they try to work together with people in a just and fair and loving way. And then it can really cause them some mental conflict when they're trying to do high vibe energy and other people aren't. Well, why aren't you working together with me in a more just and fair way? Well, I'm going to keep putting more work and effort to get you to see the truth. You should work together with me. You should appreciate me. You should love me. You should respect me. You should whatever. They keep trying to heal and get other people to see the truth of them. Some people, they're so concerned about other people appreciating them or valuing them or viewing them a certain way. That can kind of be shadowy Libra energy that anyone can harness. I want all these different people because I could view that as really important to my image in the world and my Aquarius energy, that I really want people to view me a certain way. Well, again, they could treat other people in a just and fair way, some of them, and it really bothers them when other people seem to be defensive to them or don't view them that way. And it kind of puts them in shadowy energy. And it should be, sometimes people look up to other people so much or something, or view them a certain way, like the cool kid club or something, that it really bothers them that those people don't seem to view them a certain way. And it really can keep them stuck. Well, why is it so important to have everybody view you a certain way? I don't know. People could look at that belief system, Why is it so important? And why maybe people have already shown you they're deceptive and manipulative. I kind of think shadowy people, it's so much about trying to create this illusion that they also have a hard time realizing that they could think everybody's like them, that everybody's motivated and inspired by the same things that manipulate them, but other people aren't. Some high vibe people are like, why do you even want to be friends with those people? I think they're kind of snooty or snobby or rude or whatever. And they've moved on. It doesn't bother them like that. And then the people who could be kind of snooty and snobby, they don't care about what other people think about them. It could be more the people that are in the middle, like, well, I want these people to like me and I want those people to like me. Well, the loving people could be willing to work together with them. But then it's like, well, that's great. Well, you're loving and you like people. I want those people to like me. It's like, why is it so important that those people like you? And it kind of stops them from seeing the truth of the people in their life. And just like us, when we could get in relationships with people who aren't very just or fair or loving, we kind of can really stay focused on those people. Why give a damn if they've already shown you their truth isn't your truth? They want to be in friendship or relationship with other people. They don't want to be more just and fair. High vibe energy and your own high vibe nature is waiting for you to be illuminated to the truth and love yourself enough to get out of your ego, let those people live their life the way they want to live it, and you go invest in your truth. And that's when the wheel of fortune will move in your favor. But it can be hard, again, because some of the people, it could be adult child, brother, sister, mom, dad. It could be a long term friendship or relationship. But it's like, go with the flow. Everybody has their things they need to work out that we might not know what is going on with them for some of the people in our life. For the people in our life who've already shown us, yep, your dream isn't my dream. Yep, I am deceptive or manipulative and I don't want to do it your way. Easier to move on from some of those people. But for some people who we don't really know what happened and it's confusing, like some people didn't speak their truth and we were confused and we could have communicated with them, but then they're kind of defensive to communicating their truth. Well, go with the flow, let them work out their things, and in the meantime, focus on the people in your life who are willing to work together with you, who do seem to have learned some of the same lessons as you have, who harness a more high vibrational Pisces, uh, Libra, and the Ace of Cups are Pisces, they're Cancer, they're Scorpio. And the Wheel of Fortune is all the fixed signs, willing to be more flexible, willing to get more out of their ego, to offer truth and love to situations and quit being more stubborn. And that would be Leo, Aquarius, Pisces, no, Libra, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. Move forward with the people in the world who are more balanced, more willing to see things from other people's perspective, not so fixed, more willing to be a student of life, be a little more flexible, to go more with the flow, more healed. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Pisces energy that they might not see coming? We can offer people truth and love, and to work with them cooperatively. And if that's not their truth, kind of in the Page of Cups, we wish them peace and love. And for some of you that are already moving forward, some people might not know you've done this work within yourself because those cards weren't showing themselves. Other people can see you're moving forward and you seem to be moving forward differently, seem to have justice in your life, seem to be having these new beginnings, seem to be healed. But for the people where all they do is create an illusion in the world, they just think you're creating an illusion. And so some of those people could even think, I wonder if I could still manipulate that person. And if any of those people or other shadowy people in the world try to make you an offer, if it's people that you already know, you might speak your truth that, I look at life differently. I've kind of healed. I'm glad you've maybe healed. But, with some of those people you don't want to be in a relationship with again. They've already kind of shown you the truth of who they are and how they choose to operate in a relationship or a workplace. And, you don't have to tell them everything you saw the truth of. Because, again, if they're not willing to communicate that truth to you, it would just be kind of talking to a brick wall. And it's just like, oh, yeah, I look at life differently, and from the one sword to the four of swords is the five of swords, and here we have the five of swords. You're not the same person that you were. You've kind of changed. You kind of worked through some things that you just kind of look at life differently, and you're glad they've worked through whatever they've worked through, but you're moving on differently. And some of those people, and if you were to kind of communicate your truth about some issues that you had a problem with in the relationship or the workplace, some of those people see that you saw through the illusion. They thought you really were just putting on a facade, but you really did see through the illusion. I don't view you as a just and fair person. I think you're kind of manipulative and stubborn and not truthful and more about yourself, more immature, But do we really want to read someone their list? And especially if they don't want to see the truth of it, it's pointless, really. So that's why I kind of think it's better just to tell people what your truth is and how you're moving forward. And if they want to try to create an illusion that that's the truth of who they are, they could be someone that's, in your neighborhood, in your workplace, and they can try to present themselves whatever way they want. And you can treat them like you treat other people. That, am I going to get in a more involved relationship with you again? No, because I already know the truth of who you are, and you're kind of not really willing to speak the truth. Now, if anybody were to come towards you, and just like you might have done towards people, I look at life differently now. I kind of saw the truth of some things that manipulated me, and some fears or insecurities I had, or some growing up and maturing to do that I had. Other people towards you and you towards other people could be willing to, if we feel in our intuition that people are being truthful and honest and authentic, and they really have seen through some things that used to manipulate them, and they really are more enlightened to the truth, then some people and you could be willing to have new beginnings with people who have been enlightened to the truth. And then you kind of move forward with those people along with the other people in your life, because people were willing to deal with the truth and heal within themselves to then be more just and fair and balanced in relationship. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Pisces energy that they might not see coming up? Two cards not showing themselves, and the reason is because of the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. Shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil. So, and Capricorn is also earth sign energy. We can have a lot of people in our life that we kind of had a dream of moving forward with them because we had some things of the world that connected us to them. They could be in our family, they could be in our neighborhood, in our workplace, right? And so because of those reasons, it can be more challenging to, and also want to work things out, but also being willing to maybe speak our truth. I think this is unjust. I think this is unfair, because it might be an end kind of to the relationship, and moving forward. And for some people, they're not there yet, and they're still kind of going through, but working through their own mental conflict about standing up for themselves, but it takes everybody their time. But some people, as they go through this process, will free themselves from some things within themselves, some ways of viewing life that they maybe at one time thought was just and fair, because the devil card looks just like the lover's card, except in the devil card the people have chains on them. It's restrictive, it's confining, it's limiting, it's imprisoning. You kind of feel imprisoned, and you don't really think it's just and fair, but there can be love there. And eventually some people are like, if I have been trying to be authentic, work together with people in a just and fair and loving way, and they keep refusing to want to work together with me in that way, I accept the truth of it. And they have the free will to go live their life the way they want, and I wish them peace and love to go do that. That's not my truth. And I have become clear of it that that is not my truth. And I'm going to move forward and in my truth. And I've offered that for them to come with me, but that's not their truth. They don't want to work together with me in a more just and fair and loving way. So, freeing yourself. And what you maybe didn't know as you go through this whole process helped you maybe work through how you could have harnessed these in a more worldly, shadowy way that got you into some of those relationships and kept you in them for as long as they did. And when you kind of work through how people were maybe able to use that to manipulate you, when you work through that to now, what some people don't know is you harness that in a more high vibrational way. You are willing to cut out the people in your life that harness it still in a more shadowy way. And that's how some people don't know how'd you see through the illusion? How'd you work through things that manipulated you? How'd you work through some of your past pain, heartbreak, fear, insecurity? How is it that you stand up for yourself? How'd you heal? Because you did the work. And that can be something that other people don't want to do. How have you changed that some people don't understand? The Tower in reverse and the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Well, the Tower and the Ten of Pentacles in the upright can mean that, all of us in our more fire sign nature of ourself are kind of caught up in these things of the world, and we want these friendships and these relationships, and we want these dreams to come into reality. And we kind of let our want for those things in the Ten of Pentacles, which is these long-term friendships and relationships and stability and security and a job. We want those things. So that could have more manipulated us in the past. And the Ten of Pentacles can mean they were a long-term friend, it was a long-term job, it was a long-term relationship, or we wanted that. But again, other people who are more manipulated by those things too want those things to keep manipulating us so that we'll keep staying in those jobs or friendships. But again, if there was something about it that you did not think was just and fair, that they thought was just and fair, it's kind of like, I am willing to see how those things kind of manipulate me and my want for those things. But if I have to stay stuck in something that I don't think is just and fair, and I don't see any evidence that anything's going to change to make it more just and fair or heal the relationship, then I let it go. I'm willing to accept the truth and let it go. And kind of in shadowy energy, not stay in my ego about it. I accept the truth. I do have a dream I want to bring into reality. I just realize it can't come in with those people because they might like to live more from their mind than their heart, be more about themselves, be more immature, want to win at all costs, more about the ego and the image, and not truth and love and justice and fairness and treating other people the way they want to be treated. And I see the truth of that. I look at life differently. Now I see my dream couldn't come into reality with you because that's not your truth. Now I'm free to have new beginnings with people who are more on the same page as me. And that's what you're moving forward in and investing your time and energy and effort into. Things and people that are more aligned with your truth. And because of that, some other people could feel stuck because you love them or love that job or love that career. But if you can't live your truth and you don't think you're getting justice there, then you're willing to let those things go because love is what makes it all worthwhile. But love has to be just and fair. And it wasn't. And making your life more about just these things of the world and staying in it for those more worldly reasons, high vibe people weren't willing to sacrifice their truth and live like a life of illusion. They want to work with the people who they feel are people who are more aligned with their truth. And if those different types of people exist in their world, they are going to pick the people who they think are more enlightened to the truth, and not the people who they don't think are more enlightened by the truth, even though they could have love for both people. And if some of the people in their life, like, well, if you don't live life like we live life, or you go do that and be more independent and stand for your truth and invest your time, energy, and effort into people and things that you enjoy and you like and you find emotionally fulfilling, and that's different than how we live our life, well, they might know that some of those people will be defensive to them. Well, I don't really think that's people who love you and respect you as your own individual. We don't try to make them live their life the way we live our life. We don't try to control and manipulate them, but we can have people in our life who don't want us to be more independent of them and live our more authentic life because they want us to keep doing things a certain way or do things the way they do it. And partly it can be, well, we didn't do that, so we're living our life like this and kind of creating an illusion. We don't want you to love and believe in yourself enough to go believe in your dreams and have the dream life, and we're stuck back here living an illusion. That would bother us, because then we might start to question how we're living our life. And instead of us questioning our life, we're just going to try to manipulate you to do it our way. Then we don't have to think about it. Nobody is living their authentic truth. Nobody's really getting justice. Nobody's happy. Some people are like, you have the free will to make whatever decisions you want to make. You can live your life whatever way you want. I'm going to live my truth. And if my truth is different than your truth, then I wish you peace. And if you don't wish me peace, then I wish you peace anyway. Because that's all what's going to help set me free. Making peace with it. Your truth is different than my truth, and I accept that. What's coming up? And you've cut out the people in your life that are unwilling to be more independent and have some of these things that attachments or codependencies or about themselves or the world. It's like, go enjoy your life. That's not my truth. It has too much priority in your life to such a degree. I don't think you see the truth of how much it manipulates you, but I saw it, and that's not my truth. So you go do that, and I'm moving on. What's coming up for the shadowy people they don't see coming? Karma or the judgment card. Why? Because of the death card. Some shadowy people are unwilling. The death card can talk about death and rebirth. But you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to see the truth. Some people just don't want to change. Nope, I want to do life like this. I don't want to change. I don't want to look at life differently. We went through a death and rebirth process when we went from age 15 to 18, 18 to 21, and 21 to 25. Did we enjoy that phase of life? Yeah. But did we want to keep growing and maturing ourselves? Yes. So we had to kind of see the truth of how we had to become more independent of that old stage of life, ways of thinking and viewing life, grow up and mature ourselves, believe in ourselves, expand our perception of ourselves and the world around us and what we believed was possible to get the justice we deserve. And then we kind of shed some of those old ways of being and we move forward in life differently. And a lot of people in the world went through those stages of life. But some people never want to become being more manipulated by the world or their ego. or, they're just more immature nature, or being more about themselves nature. They can go through different stages of life and kind of learn lessons in some of those ways, but to quit indulging themselves, or to quit having it be more about them, male or female, being kind of bossy or controlling, or liking to live more from their mind than their heart and just try to manipulate people because they really don't want skin in the game emotionally. It's like, that's fine. Go do that with someone else. For some of those people could be trying to manipulate someone else again. And some of the new people in their life, or the new job, is going to emotionally detach from them because they see they are unwilling to take accountability for their actions, or unwilling to change. Shadowy people can create this illusion. Oh yeah, this is how things are going to move forward. Like, your dreams will come into reality. You'll get justice. But it never happens. It was just an illusion. And hoping that people move forward with them. But because they keep kind of having hope that that dream will come into reality, they keep staying stuck with them. Some people do and some people don't. And some people could be telling some people, if this doesn't move forward in a more just and fair way, or we move forward and detach from an old way of living life, reviewing life, or you become more independent, or whatever needs to change, then I'm leaving. And some people will do that. And, they'll always, the more stubborn, prideful, immature, defensive to love, inflexible people in the world that they're going to keep moving forward in this energy. They will make the decision to keep moving forward in non-life-giving energy. I do not want to give birth to anything new emotionally. I want to keep moving forward just like this, which is fine. Everybody, we know all different people doing all kinds of ways of living life. They have the free will to live their life whatever way they want, that they enjoy, that they feel is just and fair. They just might be some people who don't want to kind of keep growing and maturing themselves, or freeing themselves from their more worldly nature, or lustful nature, or greedy nature, or immature nature, or codependent nature. And they don't have to. It's just that other people who that's not their truth, over time, they do kind of keep facing their fears. They do heal from past pain and heartbreak. They do kind of grow up and mature themselves, and those people move on. And those people could always be mad that other people work through things, offer them self-love to work through those things, to free themselves from those things. And some people never want to deal with those things. So it keeps manipulating them and keeping them stuck. And some people think, I don't have to do that work within myself. I reject that. No, I think I can work with these things of the world. I think I can go get in a different friendship, different job, different relationship. I'm sure that's the answer. But that's not the answer. They're looking to something, and that can be people more in their worldly egoic nature, which is what the masculine figures can represent. Doesn't represent men in our more worldly egoic nature. I feel it's represented by the masculine energy instead of our more emotionally intuitive nature that's more, could be more aligned with the divine. They keep not wanting to see the truth, that, but they're so manipulated by the world and these things of the world, kind of like a disempowering thing. I don't think I have the answer. The answer's outside of me. And so they keep looking for the answer to be outside of them. But they don't see that the answer lies within them. King of Wands, Aries energy, is about the self and their own inner child nature. They have to learn to love themselves, value themselves, appreciate themselves, know their worth and value, stand up for themselves, listen to their own intuition. Otherwise, they're just going to be following the world and whatever the world tells them or other people in their life. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. You should wear this. You shouldn't wear that. You should hang out with these people, not those people. You should get in this career field, not that career. You should date these people, not those people. And it's all about letting all these things manipulate them. And they go look to all those things to be the answer for them to get justice. And justice will elude them until they're willing to see the truth. Well, we'll end it there. Pisces, I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.